Udupi districts are among floristically rich regions in the state of Karnataka. The reasons for this rich vegetation are varied. Along the side of the Western Ghats, physiographic differences prevailing in the district, high rainfall, warm temperature, all this favors rich vegetation in South Canara. In recent years, however, vast changes have taken place in the natural vegetation of South Canara. The developmental activities such as expansion of agricultural fields, deforestation, power stations, both hydroelectric as well as thermal, constructions of roads, railway lines, all these have removed most of the natural vegetation of South Canara. Change has much taken place in the coastal belt. Even now, rich vegetation is seen at the foot of the Western Ghats and also on the sides of the Western Ghats. Many new species, many exotic species have been introduced deliberately or accidentally, and this introduction of exotic species have removed or bring about much changes in the natural vegetation of South Canara. Now coming to the location and physiography of Dakshina Kannada as well as Udupi districts. South Canara is a narrow stretch of land from north to south and a broken low plateau from east to west. In the north, it is bordered by North Kannada district, and in the south by Coorg and Kasaragod districts. The Western Ghat forms the natural eastern boundary where it abuts Shivamogga, Chikmagalur and Hassan districts. The western boundary is formed by a long stretch of coastline of about 140 kilometers in length. Of course, it is broken at several points by creeks, bays, river mouths, etc. The important rivers are Netravati, Gurupur, Sitanadi, Gangoli. These are the major rivers of South Canara. And the rivers of South Canara always flows from east to west. South Canara lies between 12 degree 27 minutes and 13 degree 58 minutes north and longitude 74 degree 35 minutes and 75 degree 40 minutes east, and it covers an area of 8,436 square kilometers. The South Canara receives heavy rainfall, and most of the rainfalls, as you all know, from June to September, and it is mainly from southwest monsoon, and the average rainfall exceeds 350 centimeters. And another very important feature is the temperature. South Canara has moderate temperature. The temperature fluctuation is very less. The mean maximum temperature never exceeds 35 or 36 degrees centigrade, and temperature never falls below 20 degrees centigrade. So the temperature fluctuation is very less when compared to the other areas of Karnataka. Coming to the early works on the flora of South Canara. See, Meds was the first person to explore the flora of South Canara. He was the first person to collect plants from South Canara. Later, Stolz and Plebs in 1881 published a book called 500 Indian Medicinal Plants and their use in medicine and arts. This book was published by Basel Mission Press, Mangalore. The copies are available with Bishan Singh and Mahendra Pal Singh of Dehradun. This is a very good, very useful book about the medicinal uses other uses of plants of South Canara. Later, Charles Barber, Amy Bold, Rose Morgan, all these are European botanists. They visited South Canara, made collections here in South Canara, and their collections are in European herbaria. Of course, some duplicates of these are available in the Calcutta Botanical Survey of India herbarium. After the reorganization of the Botanical Survey of India, scientists from BSI, Botanical Survey of India, visited our district, and their collections are in Calcutta Herbarium. All these are acronyms: CAL, Calcutta Herbarium; MH, Coimbatore Herbarium; BSI, that is in Pune Herbarium. So their collections are in this herbaria. Reverend Father Saldana and his associates have also made collections here in South Canara, and their collections are in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, in Center for Ecological Studies. There is a herbarium, and Dr. Saldana's and his associates' collections are there. The book exclusively on the flora of South Canara is by Aurora and Tar and others. It is a small book. They have given only the list of plants, and they have covered only 50% of the plants available in the South Canara. That is why from last several years I have been working on the flora of South Canara with the intention of to bring out a book. I have brought out some 3 or 4 books. The first one is Sedges and Grasses. That was my PhD work, and in that book I have covered all grasses, most of the grasses and sedges of South Canara. Dr. B.V. Shetty, Kaverappa and myself, we have brought out a small book in 2002 about the plant resources of Western Ghats and lowlands of Dakshin Kannada and Udupi. Pilikula Nisargadama, they have published this book. And in 2003, I brought out a book called Flora of Udupi. I have written this book mainly for students' point of view, for the identification of locally available plants. I have given lot of sketches and photographs, and so that the botanist or those who are interested in plants can easily identify the plants. That is about the review of literature. Now coming to the vegetation of South Canara, general vegetation. Physiographically, there are 3 regions: coastal belt, inland plateau, and Western Ghats. Coming to the coastal belt, as I told earlier, South Canara has a long stretch of coastline of about 140 kilometers. And in the coastal region, in the coastal belt, you will come across 2 types of vegetations. That is the mangrove vegetation and sand dune vegetation. Mangrove vegetation is a type of vegetation that occurs in saline marshes along the banks of backwaters, estuaries, etc. This mangrove vegetation is very poor in South Canara, in the west coast, when compared to the mangrove vegetation of the eastern coast. This is mainly because the rivers of South Canara are small rivers when compared to the rivers of east coast, eastern region. As a result, deltas are very less here when compared to the 24 Parganas of Bengal and deltas of Godavari river, Krishna river. So compared to these rivers, the rivers of South Canara are very small rivers. So mangrove vegetation is not so extensive when compared to the east coast. These are the common trees in the mangrove vegetation. I am not going to read out all these, because even if I read out, most of you may not be familiar with these plants. These are the shrubs and climbers. So in the mangrove vegetation you will see a number of trees, and beneath that you will see shrubs and herbs. These are the plants you will see on the coastal sands. The coastal belt consists of sand dunes. On the sand dunes, you will see a number of grasses and herbs, and you will see coconut plantations as well as casuarina plantations in the coastal sands. Now coming to the vegetation of inland plateau. Inland plateau, it lies from Western Ghats to the coastal belt. It is a low broken plateau and characterized by a number of hillocks. Throughout South Canara, you will see a number of hillocks, scattered hillocks here and there. And much degradation has taken place in the inland plateau because of the developmental activities. As a result, original vegetation has, in most of the places, it has been removed, most of the original vegetation. And what will the natural vegetation of the inland plateau is a moist deciduous type of forest, and it has been degraded to scrub type of vegetation. But even now you will see small pockets of this moist deciduous forest. For example, Pilarkan. Pilarkan is a good example of this moist deciduous type. That is the actual vegetation of the inland plateau. But because of the human interference, developmental activities, this type of forest has been reduced to scrub type of vegetation. And these are the trees, and associated with these trees there are number of climbers, and you will see a number of shrubs, herbs. Now coming to the vegetation of Western Ghats, heavy rainfall, warm temperature favors development of tropical rainforest at the foot of the Ghats and also along the side of the Western Ghats. There are two types of vegetations in the Western Ghats. One is moist deciduous, that is the semi-evergreen type of forest, and evergreen type of forest. What are the characteristic feature of this vegetation of Western Ghats? The canopy is closed, light rays never, direct sun's rays never reach the soil, because the crown of one tree touches with the crown of another tree, so canopy is closed. And you will see a number of tiers. That is the stratification is the characteristic feature of moist deciduous and evergreen forests. In the evergreen forest, you will see a number of tiers, usually 4 tiers. The first tier consists of tall trees with straight trunk and buttressed bases. These are the common trees in the first tier. They are very tall trees, and if you see the forest from above, you will see these tall trees projecting here and there in the forest, and they have straight trunk. The second tier is made up of medium sized trees. These are some examples. So most of the trees comes under this second tier. These are the third tier. Beneath the second tier you will see the third tier. It is made up of small trees and large shrubs. The ground layer consists of mainly herbs. They form the fourth tier, and the soil is densely covered by debris, dry leaves, litter. It is completely covered by litter consisting of dry leaves, decaying of organic substances, etc. And in this you will see a number of fungi, saprophytic fungi growing. Next slide. These are some climbers. Now coming to the aquatic vegetation. Throughout South Canara you will see ponds, pools and other water bodies, streams. In these you will see a lot of aquatic plants, water plants. Aquatic vegetation is poor in South Canara when compared to the other regions of the Karnataka. This is because Ponds are small here. Small irrigation ponds you will see here and there. And most of the streams are usually free from vegetation when compared to the large lakes and ponds seen in the Deccan Plateau. However, you will see a lot of hydrophytes growing in the irrigation ponds and streams, and these are the elements, common elements of aquatic vegetation. In the river bed, you will see a peculiar type of plants belonging to the family Podostemaceae. For a layman, they does not appear like plants at all. The plant is thalloid, they are like lichens firmly attached to rocks. These are the common Hydrobiopsis sessilis, Dalzilia xylanica, Indrotristica, Ramosissima. All these are Podostemaceae members. They are firmly attached to rocks. It is very difficult to remove. They usually occur in fast flowing streams at the foot of the Western Ghats. If you go to Beltangadi, Karkala area, you will come across these Podostemaceae members. Next I will show you some common plants available in the district, so that at least you can remember the names of some plants. See, this is Uvaria nerum of the family Annonaceae. This is very common in the inland plateau, in the scrub type of vegetation. This is a climber, and see the flowers, they are very characteristic. Water lily, Nymphea pubescens. 3 species of water lily occurs here. One is Nymphea pubescens, and another is Nymphea rubra and Nymphea nauchale. This is Nymphea rubra, and behind that you will see Nymphea nauchale with the pure white flowers. All these 3 species occur in the Anacarea of Karkal. This is the lotus. Lotus is very less. Only in the entire South Canara, I have seen lotus only in Karkala, in Tavarekere of Karkala. This is Creteva magna of Caparaceae. This is a highly medicinal plant, and the bark is used in the, it usually grows along river banks. This is Plecourtia montana. This is also very common in Western Ghats and in the inland plateau. The fruits are cherry-like and edible. Plecourtia montana. That is the Hydnocarpus pentandra of the family Plecourtiaceae. The fruits are large, and oil is extracted from the seeds of this plant, Chalmugra oil, that is used in the treatment of skin diseases. In earlier days, the Chalmugra oil is used in the treatment of leprosy. This is Mesosphaeria of Clusiaceae family, Nagakesara. It is a highly medicinal plant and also timber yielding plant. This is Hopia ponga. This is very common in and around Udupi. You will see this. The wood is mainly used as fuel wood. It has a high caloric value, so it is used as a fuel wood. This is Hibiscus suratensis, a climber with a lot of prickles on that. This is Hibiscus hispidicimus. This is also a climber with a lot of prickles. This is Malvaviscus penduliflorus. The flowers are pendulous. Of course, it is an exotic plant. It is native to America, introduced for ornamental purpose. This is Pterospermum acerifolium. This is common in Western Ghats. There are 2 species, Pterospermum acerifolium and diversifolium. Muchukunda, in Kannada it is called Muchukunda Mara. This is Elaeocarpus serratus. Rudraksha belongs to the genus Elaeocarpus. This is the wild one. This is the Impatiens diversifolia, a balsam. Balsams are very common. Wild balsams are very common in Western Ghats. If you visit Western Ghats during rainy season, on dripping rocks where water trickles down, you will see a number of balsam, wild balsam species. This is one. This is Impatiens sacchalis. This is very common in Western Ghats. If you go during rainy season, you will see. It is stemless plants. Stem is highly reduced. There will be tuber, and from the tuber you will see 1 or 2 leaves Then flowers. Flowers are very ornamental. This is another. This is Xanthoxylum ovalifolium of the family Rutaceae. The fruits of this are used in the preparation of pickles. There are two species, Xanthoxylum rixa, that is the cavate or something that, and this is another species. This is Nothopoditis pneumoniana of the Icacinaceae family. It is under threat. It is an endangered plant because it is used in the treatment of cancer. So people will exploit these plants. So it is under threat. This is Cissus repens. It is a climber, very common in Western Ghats. This is Holigarna ferruginea of the family Anacardiaceae, Cheradamara. And some people are allergic to this tree. It causes skin irritation and sometimes it causes the formation of blisters. This is Patholobus parviflorus. It is detrimental to forest trees. It is a large climber and it covers the canopy, the top of the tree. This is Desmodium heterocarpon. This is very common. This is Vigna radiata. This is the wild relative of green gram. Vigna radiata is the green gram, Asro. This is the wild relative of that plant. This is Bauhinia tomentosa, Mandara, the real Mandara. There are several Mandaras. Bauhinia variegata, it is an ornamental tree cultivated along roadsides. Bauhinia purpurea is there. This is the real Mandara, Bauhinia tomentosa. This is Cisalpinia mimosoides. This is a large shrub and lot of prickles are there. It is very difficult to pluck the plant because of the presence of prickles. This is Maulava spicata. This is an endemic trees of Western Ghats. Not trees, it is endemic plants of Western Ghats. It is a large climber and flowers are very beautiful. It is very common in the Western Ghats, and if you visit the Western Ghats during the flowering of this time of this plant, you can easily identify this because the inflorescences rises above the forest. This is Acacia chundra, Khadira. In Sanskrit it is called Khadira.
ಇದುವರೆಗೆ